So I finally got the Bilstein 5100 shocks installed, and I decided to put them on the highest setting. And the funny thing about it is the tires still rub. In fact, I think they rub worse now than they did. So let me back up here just a little bit so you can get a visual and you can see where the truck sits. Now the rear of the truck is totally stock. I haven't put any kind of a lift in the rear at all. And the front, of course, like I said, has the Bilstein 5100 set to the top setting. Now, according to the directions, the top setting should have netted about 2 1/4 inches of lift. You hear slightly different numbers depending on where you're doing your reading online, but the actual instructions that came with them said 2.28 inches, so about 2 1/4 inches is how much lift it would give you in the front. And this one came out right about 2 inches even. So to my eye, it looks perfectly level, but if you actually put the tape measure on there, the rear is sitting about 1/4 of an inch higher, believe it or not. Like I said, sometimes looks can be deceiving, but I actually did measure it, and the rear is about 1/4 of an inch higher. And that's actually what I wanted. I wanted just a little bit of rake because I do haul and tow with my truck. So I didn't want the front of it to be nose high. It is absolutely freezing outside. So let's do the rest of this video in the truck. So yeah, the top setting, I really debated on whether to go with a middle setting or the top setting on these shocks. As you know, there's 3 different settings, and I knew I wasn't going to do the lower one. You know, I paid money for these specific shocks just to get the lift, feature of them. So I was going to do either the middle setting or the top setting. I was a little bit worried about going with the top setting because, like I said, I didn't want the truck to be nose high. And it seems like all of these trucks end up a little bit differently. I've seen some that did end up a little bit nose high, and I've seen some that are perfectly level. Looks like mine's going to work out to be pretty much level, or like I said, about 1/4 of an inch less in the front, that's perfect. It's kind of where I was hoping it would end up. So that worked out good. I'm glad I decided to go with that top setting. It's pretty much perfect. Now, as far as rod quality goes, it's definitely firmer. You would have to expect that to be the case, right? And that's very subjective. Everybody has a different desire for how they, want the vehicle to ride and what they want it to feel like. So I can't really tell you, you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. I can't say that. But what I can tell you is it's definitely firmer. So from when it was bone stock to putting these 10-ply tires on here, it stiffened it up a little bit. And now that I've got these Bilsteins on here at the top setting, it's stiffened it up a little bit more. So now it's very firm. It's not jarring. It's not harsh. It doesn't beat you to death, but it's definitely firmer. And if I had to compare it to something, honestly, I would kind of compare it to my dad's truck. He's got a 1-ton GMC. And as you know, the GMC trucks have independent front suspension on their heavy duties. They're the only company that does that. And so obviously it's got heavy duty springs and suspension in the front of it. And this truck now kind of feels like that. I mean, it still feels good, but it's just definitely a lot firmer. So if you don't want a firm ride, you might want to go with the middle setting on the Bilsteins. But overall, I think I'm going to be just fine with it. Depending on how much the truck sags when I hook up my big trailer, I do have weight distribution, but still you get a little bit of sag. I might end up putting just a small shim or a small lift block in the rear to give me a little bit more rake. But I won't be able to tell, whether I need that or not until I get ready to go camping and hook up the big trailer and head out, with it, or hook it up and load it up and check it and see where it's at. So it'll be a little bit longer before I can tell whether I need to do that or not. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with them. The price for what you get is pretty good. Eventually I'll get the Bilstein 5100 rear shocks to go ahead and match up with the front ones. You know, truck's got 90,000 miles on it, so it wasn't a bad idea to go ahead and put some new hardware on it anyway, right? And this kind of kills two birds with one stone. Got some new struts up front and leveled the truck at the same time, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's kind of funny because while I was outside shooting this video, some people from Jeep called me to see how things were going with the Gladiator. And I've told them already that I sold it, but I guess communication didn't get around. So the people from Jeep Wave called me to see how it was going, and I told them it's going great because I don't have it anymore. You know, my Ram leaked oil, my Jeep leaked oil, my wife's Jeep Cherokee that we bought brand new is currently waiting to go back to the shop again, this time for a rear axle seal leak. So to be honest, I'm just getting kind of tired of dealing with Stellantis products, and I sold it and moved on and bought a Toyota. And she said, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know. Click. So, I mean, I do appreciate the help that they offered me. They were trying to be helpful. You know, the customer service people, they did try to be helpful. It's not their fault that the Europeans don't know how to make an engine. So you probably noticed the other mod that I did get done is the headlights, and you saw that the other day. But just as far as performance, I mean, they look awesome. But let's talk about performance just a little bit more. These things do a great job. They're not as intense as an aftermarket bulb in a halogen housing, but they do a great job. They have a good beam pattern to them, and they do illuminate the road really well. So I'm happy with them. I'm kind of glad that I went with the Toyota branded ones. I have a feeling that, you know, being genuine equipment, they'll probably last longer, and I won't have any issues with them. Sometimes you get the aftermarket ones and you end up getting condensation inside of them, or maybe have some kind of issue with them or something. So that's one of the reasons, you know, when I decided to go with full housings, I wanted to get the Toyota ones, you know, so hopefully I won't have any issues. Next thing I got to do is the fog lights, but unfortunately I've got a little bit of an issue with these because the bolts up underneath of there that you really need to take out to remove the liner to get back in there to them, well, one of them is stripped out, and it's been kind of a nightmare. I had to run a thread chaser up in there and clean it out the other night just to get the bolt back in, so I really don't want to take it back out again. Somebody said that you could pop it out right here with the trim tool and take the housing out from the front, so I might try that. Don't know yet, but I guess I'll do something with the fog lights next, just to finish up the lighting portion of the project. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I'm noticing about these factory Toyota LED headlights. This is obviously the full housing that's designed to be an LED housing. Anyway, I guess you could get these in the 2018 and newer trucks, as far as I know. And just comparing these to the halogen lights that were originally in this truck, I mean, obviously the light is wider and it is a little bit brighter, but you know, it's not really an intense light. You know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I've come from using a lot of the aftermarket LED bulbs that are out there. The quality LED bulbs, not the eBay and Amazon junk that you can get, but you know, if you buy a good quality set of LED bulbs from a reputable vendor like Headlight Revolution or someplace like that, and stick those in some halogen housings, it's a completely different ball game. You get a really intense light. You still get this good beam pattern like you see here, but you get a really intense light, and if you throw it on high beam, it goes way out there. These Toyota factory lights are not that way. I mean, like I said, they are a little bit brighter, and they do have a good beam pattern, but they're just not really intense like those aftermarket LED bulbs are. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with them, but I was expecting a little bit more for the money. But yeah, I mean, it's starting to come along and starting to actually look like a truck now. I really like the front end and some of the tasteful mods that I've been able to do. And like I said, you know, my plan is to not really get carried away with it, but I did want to do a few things to it to kind of make it look a little better and be a little bit more functional as well. So What do you guys think? I kind of like it. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I really was interested in the brand new 2022 Tundra, and I inquired about it with some dealerships, but the dealerships around here are marking them up. Some of them are putting $7,500 markup on sticker. Some are doing more than that. And there is no way that I would ever pay sticker price for a pickup truck, much less above sticker price. That's just crazy. I mean, it's not like we're talking about a limited edition Supra or something like that. I mean, these are run-of-the-mill pickup trucks. 6 months, 12 months from now, they'll be all over the roads like ants. There's nothing special about them. So I'm not going to pay above sticker, for a pickup truck. So I don't know. So I thought, hey, let's get a nice one owner used Tundra and do some cool stuff with it. And, I think it's going to actually work out pretty good for me. But I'm going to run back over here to the school and pick up my son. It's about time for school to get out. I just wanted to kind of show you these next, 2 mods that I got done. And pretty soon I'm going to be coming to completion on this first little lightweight phase of the build here. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.